Hey guys, I got something a little deeper, a little more personal about myself. I wish to share with you. Um, I got into video for a lot of other reasons, but one of the things that I have been trying to find opportunities when it's appropriate, when I feel comfortable doing, is to share some of my, a little bit of me. I mean, it's yeah. So anyway, I've come across something about myself that I didn't think I suffered from. I didn't know that it was a problem that I had. It was something that I guess you could say I was kind of blinded by, even though I knew the problem rather well. Recently, I've been going to networking events to grow and look for opportunities to develop my video marketing business. And I've been pretty open to which kind of seminars I see because I don't think there's going to be any one particular niche that I'm going to just jump into. It's going to be where the opportunity's at. So anyway, I went to one about anxiety. Now, the short story on anxiety and in general psychology is my strongest subject. I've spent probably 15 or more years, maybe even pushing towards 20. Like, I'm talking like, I mean, if I were to, it was probably around my like grade 7 years, probably when I started to get into it more. But anyway, psychology and why people do things, you know, it has always been a fascinating subject for me, mostly because I've been motivated to try to find answers for myself, my past, and just people that I know. Like why are things the way they are in a sense. So anyway, more particularly on the subject of anxiety, I think I put a lot more time in that subject when I was in a really good spot in my life, when everything was kind of going well. So I never really viewed the subject or pointed the attention to myself, if you will. I just kind of went, okay, this is what it is, and okay, now I know. So I want to kind of roughly point that picture at around the time when I was working at Costco. And without going into too many details with Costco was a really healthy environment for me for the most part. Socially and just everything was really good for me. And but I never did stay around Costco for very long because, well, I was there for 3 years, and there was some drama at work that I was kind of trying to get away from. Involved a girl that I really 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 liked, and but also probably more so than that, I was I've always been an entrepreneur. That's another strong subject of mine. It's been another story for another day. It's what saved my life. And so anyway, I needed to go for it. I needed to go give it a shot. I was in a good time in my life, and I just figured, if I want to take the next step, I needed to take it. And so I basically, anyway, this isn't what this video is about, but I want to briefly cap between Costco and before I moved to Kelowna. It was probably a good 6 year journey, I guess. So, I mean, there's a lot of story to this. But, like any business, startups, it's hard, and it didn't ultimately work out. And through that struggle, I've fell into a depression, a clinical depression. I've been in and out of the hospital for suicide. I've been, like there's some pretty ugly, uncomfortable stories that I don't really want to go into right here. But before I moved to Kelowna, the terms to get out of the hospital was actually it was the changing of the environment. My sister was out here in Kelowna, And through the, talking with people, what was really important to me was family. And I felt like the family that I had in Edmonton was more like relatives. I knew them, but I didn't know them. And what I was hoping to get coming to Kelowna was, a deeper relationship with my sister, a family bond. And so that's what that was part of the conditions for me to leave. Some other benefits were there was a lot of the cultural component of Alberta that I didn't like. I wasn't into the tar sands. I wasn't into the industry life. I was growing rather grotesque, if you will, or I didn't really like the consumption lifestyle they have. They have 6 months of winters, and it's pretty much anybody talks about is their vehicles they own and the stuff that they do inside their homes, which involved a lot of what TV shows they watch or what computers they had or what. There wasn't a lot of people that I knew that was outgoing to go outside to do stuff. And Edmonton is a pretty boring place. Even in the middle of summer, there's things to do, but it's not really their culture. So I need to get away from that. So anyway, I moved out here to Kelowna, and the whole goal behind that was, again, like, this is where I was hoping. Well, I'm still working on it to put my roots in. This is where I plant my flag and develop relationships and do the entrepreneurial thing and solve problems that I want to solve, not just kind of live one year into the next and just eventually, call it a life. And you know what I mean? I still want to make a huge impact on this world. But, that's another story that I'm working on. So anyway, I've been in Kelowna for 4 years, and it's been black and white way better than what it was in, say, the last 4 years in Edmonton. And I'm very appreciative of that. I'm definitely in a much healthier, much better place. But I still have those skeletons, those insecurities, those aspects of myself that I still carry with me. And, again, with what this whole thing's all about, and something I never really saw until recently, was the anxiety issue. In the workshop, she mentioned that there are a lot of people that suffer from anxiety and they're not even aware of it, primarily because they've gotten so good at avoiding situations that provoke the feelings of anxiety, provoke that. And so I think I've just been so good at that myself that, even though I don't feel the intensity of it frequently enough to consider myself, that I suffer from anxiety, but it definitely, I can see it altering my behaviors and, like cause and effect. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, recently this has been kind of something I've been pondering about because I've got a philosophy of, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's what you reap in your own backyard. It's how you take care of yourself. It's the relationships and the work behind them, and everything about life is it starts with you, right? So running from problems or having a pile of problems and just trying to get away from it, you'll end up making a new pile of problems. And I've seen this in myself, I've seen this in many people, and it's we only have one life, and we can spend our entire lives running from problems. And when you talk to older people, they kind of get it better. Talking to a lot of like much older people, like people in their retirement years, and like they all share that same wisdom. Anyway, that's not what this is all about per se, but the point being is you just gotta get help when you need it, and one of the principles or core values and principles of the work that I want to get into is creating that village effect again, right? That incorporates all aspects of what it is to be alive, so it's family, it's economics, it's work related, it's where we live and how we feel and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm as you're aware, I took a bit of a repetitive motion injury in my shoulder a year ago. Anyway, that's solved problem. That's not even an issue anymore. But one of the reasons that I took up a job with the match was for therapeutical reasons. Not only did I need to buy some time to work on my business and have some time to do that, part of it was to try to, I was hoping to have better relationships working at the match. And, because I didn't know I had the anxiety, and a little bit on anxiety is it only lasts about 10 minutes. The fight, flight, or freeze response, the whole bio, system, that all the chemistry that goes through your body, it's like a tank, and it can only last for so long before it has to wear out. And what I found was at work, there are people that I have spent more than 10 minutes at enough times where I don't feel any anxiety. I communicate well with them, where we get along. There's just no problems. But then there's a lot of people that I never had that time. So I never got past that 10-minute mark with them. And because I don't smoke and I don't go out partying, and I'm not part of the party scene, if you will. I still like to have fun. I don't get me wrong, but it's not something I need to do every Friday. But that just basically left me out of a lot of social opportunities, whether it be outside of work or even just going for a smoke. And at work, we're too busy most of the time to have 10 minutes to create relationships. It's a very slow process. Like the longer I've worked at Match, the better it's gotten, but it's not. It's one of the reasons why I need to move on is because even though I see room for improvement, I almost feel like, I don't know, maybe I need a new start. I don't know. Again, there's other reasons why I'm leaving the Match and that environment. It's not just because of this. It's, I got some other ambitions and goals that I need to go for. So anyway, what I intend to do now is I'm getting into video marketing. I've got a interesting palette of options between, as you're aware, working on recreational entertainment, tourism videos, to developing businesses and creating, video marketing plans for them. But the third one that I want to do, and I will admit this has mostly been motivated over my discovery of this, is I want to help bring awareness about anxiety, what it is, and there's solutions to it. It's not even rocket science. I'm not concerned with suffering. I think anxiety, the issues I have with anxiety is going to be a lifelong thing, because largely what provokes it, the history of it, the trauma of my childhood is never going to change, but I can cope with it. Anyway, I want to bring that to more awareness, because I think, and there's plenty of studies that show it, that there's a lot of people that suffer with it. And if I was, with what I know, if I missed the my own self-diagnosis, then how many other people are going about going through life when they, with a little bit of help, they could have it so much easier, so much better, so much more comfortable, so much more everything. It could be way better for many, many people. So I don't want to go into details with my intent, because I'm still networking that component. But I have some interesting ideas on how I think I can approach this, and that's something I'm going to want to do. And so I hope that, like they say, if I can help even 10 people or whatever, that it would be worth it. But I believe because I have a background in marketing and networking, I do believe I can help out a lot more than just a few odd people. So yeah, other than that, I guess that's it. Yeah, if you ever need help yourself, I will, give me some time to connect some dots and create a system. But there's a way. You can talk to me if you want to, and if or I can help you find help yourself, or whatever that works out, whatever's the best way. But yeah, I just wanted to share this because, again, I was not aware of this pretty much at any time in my life that I had this issue. And, 34 years, uh, it's a long time to be, you know. So yeah, I'm going to be working on some change. I do look forward to seeing that come through. But yeah, other than that, I guess have yourself a good one.